My name is Willie Martinez. I am a lending assistant, customer service representative for Happy State Bank. The most I love is working with people, and I think that we as a bank, we do that. I think that's our culture. I think they go out and find those individuals that love to interact with individuals and love the conversation and love working and helping out and solving those problems that our customers can have. And I think that the culture, the helpfulness, I think that's what sets us apart.
Thank you all for standing. Our invitation is today given by Mark Love of the Central Church of Christ.
Let's pray. Father, it's a time of year in which the nation begins to give thanks for the blessings of this life. We pray, Father, that we can do that every day. We can always be appreciative of the blessings that we have. We're thankful, Father, for the city government that we have and the process that they're going through to determine a new city manager. And so we pray for that decision. We pray for the people in the city and in the Panhandle, their well-being, and during tough economic times, we just want to lift up them and their families. We pray special blessings and comfort through your Holy Spirit. We pray for this meeting, Father, and the decisions that are made, and that they would glorify your name. In your Son's holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Please be seated.
Whereas hospice care provides compassionate and comforting support for terminally ill patients and their families, including pain management, palliative medical care, and social, emotional, and spiritual services. And whereas hospice provides the quality care that allows people to live well at the end of their life. And whereas more than 40,000 professionals and 400,000 volunteers provide comforting and supportive hospice services to nearly 1,060,000 patients and their families in an estimated 3650 hospice programs throughout the United States. And whereas Odyssey Healthcare of Amarillo has joined the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization and an estimated 3650 hospice providers in declaring November 2009 as National Hospice Month, and is calling on all Americans to observe this occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Now, therefore, we, Mayor and City Commissioners, the City of Amarillo, Texas, do by hereby proclaim November 2010 is National Hospice Month in Amarillo and encourage the support and participation of all citizens in learning more about the hospice concept of care for people of all ages, all diseases, and all faiths who are facing terminal illness. That's for you, man.
During Hospice Month, we recognize all the facilities that we serve, and we do special things for those facilities, take treats to their staff that work with us taking care of our patients. We've done some spa days for them. We've done some fall festivals for them, and we just try to recognize those in the community that help us take care of the patients.
We appreciate what you do in this community. It's an invaluable service. We all experience it during our family and our friends. So thank you very much for all of your
Thank you to our staff. We're really proud to serve this area.
introduce you body with you.
Margaret Morris, and she's my bishop secretary, and Susan Elias is our spiritual coordinator.
Thank you very much. And would you define for Commissioner Simple the word how?
I can't even say it.
That's why he never does it.
Palliative care is part of hospice care. What it means is before you actually reach the terminal phase of your illness, where you have medication that relieves your pain and symptoms, but you still may seek some aggressive treatment at that time.
Very good.
Thank you so
Yes, I got it. Do we have anyone from the Kiwanis Club here? All by yourself? We have a proclamation for the Kiwanis Club of, which one is it? Amarillo South. It's whereas the Bible has been a constant source of moral and spiritual guidance for many people throughout the centuries, and whereas the Bible has profoundly influenced art, literature, music, and codes of law, and whereas the Bible has motivated many to acts of compassion and charity, and whereas the Bible continues to provide inspiration, hope, and comfort for millions of Americans today, and whereas National Bible Week is a time to be reminded of the Bible's unique place in American life, and for 31 years, the Kiwanis Club of Amarillo South has sponsored the Bible Reading Marathon in Amarillo, and whereas this annual celebration has encouraged the reading of the Bible. Now, therefore, we, Mayor and City Commissioners of the City of Amarillo, Texas, do hereby proclaim November 18th through November 22nd, 2010 as National Bible Week in Amarillo, Texas, and encourage interested citizens to participate in this observance given out under our hands and seal of office this 16th day of November 2010, which happens to be my birthday. So, congratulations. Be not told what's the time of the
Thank you. As noted in the proclamation, it's our 31st consecutive year of observing this week by reading the Bible from start to finish, stopping only at midnight and beginning again at 6 a.m. And it's a team of some 36 people, 10 people per team, 360 individuals reading nonstop at the studios and co-sponsored by Suddenly on Channel 95 cable. So if any of you would care to join us, we would encourage you to participate in that from your home or place of business. So thank you all very much.
How would they get in touch with you?
They can call me at 236-9248.
And when does that start?
It starts noon, or I'm sorry, 1 o'clock on Thursday, and it'll go all the way through the weekend, and it'll end at about 10:15 on the evening.
Great.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all so much for being here today. We really enjoy doing the proclamations because we know something important is happening in the city of Amarillo when we do that. Welcome to today's City Commission meeting. We have Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month, remember, is our night meeting at 5:30. So that folks that are working can come and be a part of this commission. First item on today's agenda are the minutes. Do we have any comments from the audience or the commission on the minutes? How do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move for approval of the minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes by a 5-0 vote. The next item is ordinance 7249. This is the first reading of an ordinance changing the zoning of a tract of land in the vicinity of Plum Creek Drive and Plum Creek Drive from Office District 2 to Office District 2 with a specific use permit for a medical appliance, fitting, sales, or rental facility. This is recommended for approval by a 6-0 vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do we have any comments from the audience on this ordinance? Commission? Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor, move approval of ordinance 7249. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? That motion passes The next item is ordinance 7250. This is the first reading of an ordinance changing the zoning of a tract of land in the vicinity of Broadway Drive and Shiraz Boulevard, that's right, from agricultural district to residential district 3. This is recommended for approval by a 6-0 vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. You can see that on the screen. Are there any comments from the audience on this ordinance? Commission? Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move we approve ordinance number 7250.
I second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by a 5-0 vote. The next item is ordinance 7251. This is the first reading of an ordinance appointing Stacy Hand to the office of Associate Judge, part-time, of the City of Amarillo Municipal Court. The term of this appointment shall run through fiscal year 2010-2011, at which time the appointment shall be considered to coincide with the standard 2-year terms of the office for the present associate judges. Is Stacy in the audience? Okay. Are there any comments from the audience on this ordinance? Commission? Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor, make a motion we approve ordinance number 7251.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes by a 5-0 vote. Next item is resolution. Tax increment reinvestment zone number 1, notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation. This resolution approves and authorizes the publication of a notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation for tax increment reinvestment zone number 1 projects, including incident and related matters. These certificates will be issued in an amount not to exceed $2,260,000 and will be paid through revenues of tax increment zone number 1, with funds being used for stated improvements within the zone boundaries. Do you mind condensing this just a little bit for us and letting us understand it a little bit better, please? Do you feel like talking?
Oh, fine.
Yes, the TERS board met last week, and they recommended that they issue $2,260,000 in certificates of obligation, and the city pledged the TERS revenues to finance them. They're going to use these monies to make improvements around the Potter County Courthouse and also other improvements in downtown, streetscaping, paving, lighting, as far as the money will go.
Is this the first project for the tiers? Is it the second?
Well, they've got I guess the first big project was the FIS building, which should open right before Christmas as a new Marriott. And they also have another project, it's the old Panhandle Fruit Building. So this would be their, I guess, their third project.
Yeah.
This doesn't involve any kind of increase in taxation on the citizens of Amarillo.
No, the TERS revenues will pay this bonded debt.
And remind us again, the tiers or TERS, exactly what is a TERS? What is a tier TERS? Tier TERS.
It's an area that the commission has designated, and then the increase in value of that area times the tax rate, those funds flow to this tiers, and they're used for improvements in that area.
So we're on our way to improvement, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am.
So the hotel, when it goes online probably next year, about how much will that add to the funds? Have any idea?
Well, no, but in our agreement with the hotel, the tiers has agreed to rebate 90% of the taxes, the increment, to them. So those monies won't be used for this debt.
Okay.
But the current revenues of $451,000 would cover the debt service on this, which should be about $165,000, still leaving almost $250,000 for annually for projects.
Do you think, Dean, that the incentives that were provided to the new courtyard volunteers was a significant incentive to help them to come downtown?
I do, and it was an anchor project identified in their financing plan. Downtown Hotel was one of those projects, and I think that increment made the project work.
Any questions? Any questions from the audience on this particular resolution? Yes. Hi, Alan. Dean, do you want to
Yeah, real quick, I
after 20 years, yes. And then the whole value goes on the roll.
Alan?
Mr. Frigo, does the Tiers District have its own?
Alan, you mind giving us your name?
Oh, Alan Feingold. I live at 2601 North Grand, apartment 157.
Okay. Alan, if you'll direct your question to me, then I'll get it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does the Tiers District have its own bank account separate from other city accounts?
Okay, and is that one, okay, Dean, if you don't mind answering that question?
Yes, they have a separate money market account they put their money into.
Okay. Is there a procedure for dedicating the revenues from the Tiers District towards payment of a particular certificate of obligation?
Once the city commission has to issue the certificates of obligation, and they will pledge the Tiers revenues to support that issue. And we usually put in a test that they can issue additional bonds in the future so long as they meet certain coverage requirements. They use pledge the same revenue source.
Is there any limit on the amount of certificates of obligation that the city can issue on the Tiers revenue?
Well, the revenue would have to support it with a comfortable coverage ratio, or I wouldn't recommend it. But yes, the revenues do limit the issue.
And investors wouldn't buy it.
Is there any actual legal obligation the city has to limit the amount of these certificates of obligation? I don't mean whether you'd recommend it or whether investors would buy it. I mean, is there any actual legal limit on the amount of these certificates of obligation that can be issued on the basis of repayment by the Tiers revenues?
Yes, sir, there is.
Could you
The
tell
city
me?
is not allowed by Texas Constitution to engage in deficit spending, as Mr. Frigo just described. The limit is whatever the revenue will support.
And that's the determination.
Obligation or any form of debt. We cannot issue any more debt than can be supported by the stream of revenue dedicated to it. We cannot engage in deficit spending.
I presume that determination has to be made for each certificate of obligation by the commission. Is that correct?
You shake his head. I didn't see. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Feingold. Thank you. Yes, sir. If you'll come up and give us your name and address, please, sir.
John Johnson, 708 East St. Francis. And in regard to this Tiers situation, you're aware, I know, of the petition for circulation to try to remove the Clemens Eccles and the downtown.
Yes, sir.
Now, we have those petitions underway,
Okay.
and we're in the process of counting them up. How is this, I see this may affect the money that you, hopefully, if we win and get our properties removed from this, is that going to affect this bond and possible potential?
I don't see how it would, Mr. Norris, or do you all see how that would affect?
Well, they said the tax, this is what I read in the paper, they said the tax money
Yeah, I
that
see.
we're going to derive. Now, if we are removed from that, would you?
How would it be affected?
I think the petition removes you from the downtown standards.
No, so we're asking to have the ordinance removed the Tiers without understanding.
But if the downtown standard ordinance,
And we were kind of working into this thing, but because it's the last minute, you took in the Clemens Eccles and some of the residential areas. It was originally intended downtown. Now, maybe there is a mistake and we'll go further. But,
Well, I would add, Mayor, that the petition filed with the city secretary does not address the Tiers. It's the petition as filed, and you understand it's being circulated, addresses only the urban design standards, and to have Clemens Eccles removed from that.
So
I believe we did not include, I don't believe we included the residents because of limitation on the amount of residential property in the tier. I think we kind of clear up.
There is an amount of residential property within the tiers, but it is limited. And I'm not sure that, sir, we'd have covers the area.
But to answer the question about the effect on the bonds, and Dean's the financial man, I would suspect that the amount of taxable value in those residences compared to the other dozens of blocks of downtown which remain in the tiers would be sufficient to still cover the bonds, even if we didn't have the tax increment from the residential area. Would you agree that the residential area is a minimus portion?
Yeah, I think once you establish the tiers, that area, Stephen, help me, because I'm not aware that you can move it. Yeah, I don't think you can shrink it.
But hypothetically,
Unless we can remove the ordinance.
Well, the ordinance would take you out from under the downtown standards. The tiers was properly created.
Yeah, Mr. Atkinson. Mr. Johnson, our city manager, I
think for the purpose of what we're discussing here, sir, that they are two totally separate issues. Your petition would have an impact on the design standards that affect your property.
Right.
But you can have that ordinance, you know, if you're successful, that ordinance could be repealed. So that sets that aside. It does not, to our understanding, based on the petitions that were filed, have any effect on the establishment of the tiers or the boundary of the tiers or anything. So I think to try to make just a brief answer to the question, your efforts do not have a direct impact on this item before the commission today.
Okay. Well, I was concerned that, you know, hopefully we'll get our part done, and with that effect, the money that you're going to appropriate for this city, and maybe the city be helping the bag to pay for it.
Well, it sounds like it won't affect that. So thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for your question. Any other from the audience? Any other questions? Yes. Hi.
Ermaeda, 1604 South Harrison. Mayor, would you recluse yourself from the vote because whatever is done downtown, I believe is a conflict of interest? I've counted at least 20 signs and I haven't finished counting them all with your husband's name on it and his partner's profiting with whatever you place your vote on.
Irma, you know, I've been thinking about this. I'm so glad you asked that question. Because my husband is a real estate broker, commercial real estate broker.
Right.
He has property all over this city. There is not a spot in this city that if we were doing some sort of ordinance that he would not be affected. So, just because he has some downtown doesn't mean he has some, does not have a north, south, east, west, all over Amarillo. So, no, I won't refuse myself.
Because I believe that all the improvements and things that are being downtown, and it will be taking our taxpayers' money.
Mm-hmm.
With every vote,
you know,
he will profit from it.
It is so.
I do believe it's a conflict of interest.
It's not. Thank you, though. Thank you for that. I don't believe so. And it's up to me to decide that. So, again, he has property all over this community. Yeah, he's a real estate broker. Yeah, and he doesn't own the property, Irma. He's a broker. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Charlie Taylor, 906 South Crockett. And back to Mr. Johnson's question, the things that y'all are buying in these bonds do go towards urban design standards, so it would affect that petition.
Okay, I think we're referring to the petition that's been filed, Mr. Norris, evidently.
The particular area where this money will be spent is in the core of downtown, not if your petition was successful, if your petition had the Clemens Stafford neighborhood removed from the urban design standards. Okay? That's not the core area downtown where this money is currently being planned to be spent.
Well, the petition is for the whole urban design standards to be repealed. This money on these obligations are going towards things for the urban design standards. So
and
that would be.
If the governing body chooses, if you were successful and the ordinance were repealed entirely, and you had no downtown urban design standards, the city would face a decision then whether or not to go ahead and proceed with the beautification of the core area downtown with this fund. The tiers still remains. The design standards, if you're successful, will go away. But the tiers itself remains, and the tiers may still initiate a beautification process downtown for which these funds could be used.
But these bonds of obligation that y'all are wanting to intent to put in would still go toward the thing that our petition is trying to, no.
on, let me try it again. Let's say that you do prevail over in the design standards of the okay? That's off the books. The governing body may on its own as a new initiative say we want to beautify downtown apart from anything that urban design standards say. They can initiate a beautification program and utilize these funds for the same purpose that have been designated for a downtown beautification, streetscape. Apart from, they have that prerogative. If you prevail on 1 point law and get one ordinance repealed, that does not bind them from passing other ordinances or taking other initiatives.
Well, I would like to ask that y'all table this intent until the petition has been finished and until after the election, because this is just more money on top of whatever. And I would ask for y'all to do that. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Can I make sure I'm clear about something, Marcus? Is this in the Clemens Echoes edition, or is this for all of downtown?
This is for the core central business district along 6th and Polk Street, around the Texas Park and the courthouse. So I say this is in the core of downtown.
Any other comments from the commission? If not, do I have a motion?
Mayor, I will move for approval of this resolution regarding tax income reinvestment supplement notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by 5-0 vote. The next item is resolution tax increment reinvestment zone number 1 projects reimbursement authorization. This resolution approves and authorizes the city of Amarillo to preserve its ability to reimburse project capital expenditures for stated projects within the tax increment of the tier zone number 1. The city shall issue tax-exempt debt to support these projects. Approval of this resolution shall provide for the reimbursement of eligible project expenses incurred prior to this debt issuance. Mr. Frigo, do you mind explaining that, please, sir?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. The reimbursement resolution is, we need that for the Potter County project. Potter County is in the process of hiring an architect and doing the streetscaping, and we could pay for those items out of the TERS funds until we did issue the bonds and then reimburse the tiers out of the bond proceeds. So we really need the reimbursement resolution so the Potter County project can get underway.
Any comments from the audience on this resolution? Yes, sir.
I have a question regarding this. If a private party makes what is regarded as a capital expenditure, for example, suppose SBS decided to bury electrical lines underneath an alley, would this resolution allow the city to reimburse them for placing, say, the electrical lines underneath the street? Another example, if someone chooses to, say, locate a ballpark inside the tiers, and it's a private party, and they build a park, would this resolution authorize the city to reimburse them for the cost of building the ballpark?
Good question.
No.
Okay, the answer is no. I guess not. Is no or yes?
Well, I simply hope that the city attorney will write the rules in such a way as to preclude any possibility of a private party being reimbursed for a capital expenditure. Thank you.
Good observation. Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. Any other comments? From the commission? Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor, hang on. I'm Jim Hammond, I live at 1514 South Pierce. Okay, if I'm lucky enough, I guess still have a house there after the ballpark's built. It's gonna be like on one of the plans the furthest way is gonna be 9 blocks, the other one's gonna be 8, the other one's gonna be 7. And it seems to me like I'm gonna be hearing the roar of the crowd, just like I was at the Coliseum.
Mr. Hammond saying that we're really not discussing the ballpark right now, so that's not on our agenda to talk about, so.
Okay.
Did you want to ask about this resolution for reimbursement for Potter County? The courthouse, okay, thank you. Okay, I have a motion and a second, I think.
I tried to make the motion now to move approval resolution for the reimbursement authorization. I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by 5-0 vote. The next item is resolution, the city golf course renovation project, notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation. This resolution approves and authorizes the publication of a notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation for the renovation of the Ross Rogers Golf Course, the old course, including incident and related matters. These certificates of obligation will be issued in an amount not to exceed $4,100,000 and will be paid through golf course revenues. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We're excited about this new Ross Rogers Golf Course, and we have been singled out as one of the best golf courses, particularly the public golf courses in the state, maybe even the country. So we want to continue to provide that quality of life for our citizens, and I think it's going to be a wonderful project for the city. And anyway, I'm excited about moving forward on this. Are there any comments from the audience on this particular resolution about the golf course? Hey, Alan, you might sit in the front seat for me here.
Yes.
What do you have there?
Oh, map.
A map.
I'd like to ask a few questions of Mr. Offerdown, since he is the head of the Parks Department, and I presume that it will be under the auspices of the Parks Department that this project is done.
Yes, Larry, do you mind coming up here? I'm sorry, stand by, Mr. Milo.
Could you tell me what the total expenditure is for the golf course, the Ross Rogers complex? I think there are 4 of them.
You're talking about just the annual budget?
Annual budget, yes.
The budget right now is $1 million, roughly $2 million.
Okay, would you accept the figure of approximately $1.25 million?
That's pretty close.
Okay. And what are the revenues that you get now from that course? That is the sum of all the fees that are paid, green fees, permits, the like.
You mean total golf or just for Ross Rogers?
Just for Ross Rogers.
In a normal year, this year we were down because of the weather impact, but in a normal year, the revenues for Ross Rogers, the good weather, and the expenditures are very close. A couple years ago, they were pretty close.
Okay.
But it all depends whether impacts golf.
How much extra revenue do you believe that you will get if you alter the fees in order to cover the expenditure that you propose making?
We are proposing to adjust the rate on the whole course reopens to the capital improvement fee of $2 and raise the fee to $4. Dean has his figures right here, but we will generate. Dean has the numbers right here. That's what these are actual numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, what we're estimating is this $2 golf course improvement fee. Right now, it's a $1 fee, so it would go up to $2. And then when the new East course comes on, there'd be a $4 renovation green fee added to it. So that we're looking that'll generate $328,000. We expect the debt service on the $4.1 million to be $265,000. And we'll still have $65,000 in that golf improvement fund, and about $70,000 is going in there now, so it's pretty close to the amount that's going in there now for other improvements.
How long do you think it'll take to pay this off?
20 years.
Okay, so we're looking at 20 years to pay off this expenditure. Do you recall a discussion that was held in 2009 regarding T Anchor Lake and possible improvements to T Anchor Lake? Do you recall that part of that discussion was erosion control on T Anchor Lake?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I was just listening. We got to talk about the golf course.
Okay. Essentially, what we have here is a situation where the city is putting priority on recontouring a golf course. If the expenditure is made, there will not be money to do such things as make the improvements on T-Anchor Lake, including something as essential as erosion control.
Al, but let me just say, what you're saying, and I can understand what you're trying to say, but this is paid for by players' fees, and there's revenue stream to pay the step. You do to the T-Anchor, and who's going to pay for that? That's going to come from your tax dollars. This is going to be paid for by the people who use it.
I will grant your point.
Okay.
But you are also taking a priority. It's going to take 20 years, roughly, to pay this off. You're essentially putting priority on a golf course. Now, I hope you'll keep that in mind the next time the matter of T-Anchor Lake comes up. I'll grant you there isn't a revenue stream that's going to come from T-Anchor Lake. But controlling the erosion around that lake should be a far higher priority than recontouring a golf course. Now, I'll grant you that concerning the irrigation, that might be a justifiable expenditure in that it involves a water issue and will save you money for labor in the long run. But as for the other $2.5 million, I think the money would have been much better spent had you simply decided to make some capital improvements, including particularly the one on T-Anchor.
Any other comments? Yes, sir. Hi.
Good afternoon, Danny South, 7003 Windridge. My question is on this golf course at $4.1 million. What all is included on that $4.1 million? Is it a new golf course with new facilities?
Okay, Mr. Alfredo, would you mind addressing that? Yeah, okay. Larry, do you mind stepping to the microphone?
Briefly, the renovation will include...
Larry, can you step right in front of that microphone? Thank you.
Larry Alfredo, Director of Parks and Recreation. The renovation will include the replacement of the existing irrigation system, which is an old hydraulic system, which we can't currently get parts for anymore. So in fact, we're operating a lot of the heads manually right now. So the other part of the renovation that's, I think, very justified is the fact that the course, some of these greens are as old as Ross Rogers, and they're old push-up greens. They're very difficult to maintain. And the golf course is way past its time to be renovated. And so our goal here is we're going to do a very efficient renovation. We're going to come in with new USGA spec greens. We're going to have a state-of-the-art irrigation system, which we're going to probably save at least 20% water on our current irrigation system. So we're going to cut our water consumption greatly down to the tune of tens of thousands of gallons per night of water, of course, because it's going to be ET-based water. Again, we are very confident that we've seen the success with the renovation we did at the Wild Horse course and how much extra money that generates because of the renovation. We see the same opportunity for success on this project because we feel that once we get this project done, it will generate additional revenue to pay off this debt and actually make this golf course much more self-supporting. So, I mean, I think the timing is right. Anytime you do a project, we are very committed to quality. Like the Mayor said, we want to have one of the best, most economically priced golf courses in Texas. We have been recognized as #1 in the last 4 years here in the state of Texas by the Dallas Morning News. And so we are very committed to quality, but we're also very committed to bring this golf course in and economically under budget as possible. And so that's our commitment, and we want to let the golf course go.
Okay, again, is this another new golf course? Is it, we're just renovating the existing 18 homes?
Correct.
Have we seen any marketing studies to show an increase regarding the number of people that's supposed to now play golf at a $4.1 million public course?
We're going off what we did with the course when we did Wild Horse and how much more
much was at Wild Horse?
We, just remember here, but it was, we generated, I believe, about $300,000.
Incremental additional revenue.
So those numbers were figured into this 20-year payback?
Well, Larry, if I'm not mistaken, when you did Wild Horse, I wasn't here, but you projected it to take 20 years to pay for itself, but it actually paid for itself in 10. Is that not right? So, you know, if we have that same success, we're saying it's going to take 20, but we feel like if we have the right course, it's going to take, it can pay off in 10. But,
Well, understand, I have no dog in this hunt. I don't play golf. I just look at this at a $4.1 million golf course, especially in this economic time. I have to scratch my little bald head and go, I don't understand that, but thank you.
Remember, again, it's the users that are paying, that are going to be paying for this debt. It's not the taxpayer.
Okay.
Okay? Hello, Commissioner.
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Perez, live at 1101 South Seminole, and I'm Commissioner Potter County, Precinct 2. I see things here, and I'm going to get truthful with you. We need to clean Washington, and we need to clean Amarillo. That's how I feel about it. And that's why, because people that are there, you're sitting in a place where I see it in the other side. And I feel that you are not doing the right things for the people of Amarillo.
Is this about the golf?
Wait just a minute.
Okay.
And you have to turn, you can defend yourself. And I feel real strongly, when you take an office, I feel that you're supposed to represent the whole area, all of them, everybody. But you have a big $2 million, a certificate of obligations, a $4 million plus for a golf course, when we have more things to fix around this area in the northeast and the east side and the south. And you spend all that time, you spend time doing something for $20 million, $4 million, which you could do more things for the money somewhere. You can do some certificates to do things that don't pretend golf. Golf is nice. I love golf. I don't play. I've seen it on TV. But the main thing is we got alleys, we got tee anchor, we got the horse leg, we got the horse side, done on my mixtures and all that. We need all that cleaning. It's junk some places.
Manny, can you tell me again, where did we say the money was coming from?
Yes, I know where it's coming
Where?
from. From the people.
What people?
The people that play golf.
That's right.
Yes, I know.
Is it coming from the taxpayer?
But you're still putting your money out there on certificate of obligations, and then they're going to pay that to you.
You know, I'm real disappointed.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say too. Okay, raise all the money first, and then you buy something to see.
You can't raise it unless they use it.
Okay, that's right. But you're still getting money ahead. What if something happens that you can't make those obligations?
Manny, I've been thinking about this, and I'm really disappointed that you are not supporting things that are in your area of town. You call my people, my area of town, but yet you are not supporting things that are going to make it more successful, going to bring in income, going to bring in revenue for your part of town. And again, you accuse us of not representing the entire city. You are representing, you say, my people, my part of town. What about the rest of the city?
That's what I'm saying. I said all of our people. I said, when I say my people, you can look at your record. When I say my people, it means everybody. It doesn't mean the Hispanic, it doesn't mean the Indians over there in the north side. That's why I said, that's my definition, my people.
Your people are the whole city?
Yes.
I don't think so. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Commissioner, do you know, just curious, what percentage of cities of our size have a AAA bond rating? It's very small. Dean Frigo and the city leaders here have been very careful over the years to not over-leverage this city. Do you know that we have one of the lowest debt ratios per capita of any city in the Southwest?
We don't really extend certificates of obligation and bonds without very good justification and even excessive support to be able to pay those back. So I don't really think that the city needs to defend its history of utilizing bonding capacity and certificates of obligation, because we've been very responsible in that regard.
What they interested in, you don't pay on those bonds for 20 years. 20 years. What can we build? I mean, what can we build? What can this Anchor and other areas, not specifically, other areas that need to be fixed? That with the money. Well, there was a cut. There was cut in the budget.
Some of the bonding
we've done budget. What you cut?
Some of the bonding we've done recently has been with 0% interest through the state. Some of it's been at 2% interest. These probably won't come in like that, but you would expect about 4% for these bonds.
You know, the main thing is right here, and I'll say, you know, I always have said it. You have to think about the people, all of us, wealthy and all that. They pay taxes too, and we have to think about who's going to pay for it in the future years. Our grandkids and kids.
Only if they pay off.
They pay off. Well, I know what I'm saying. You always have to come up with something smart, but it's okay. I'll forgive you. You know? But the main thing is we need to take care of our city and look what we're buying.
May I ask you a question? Why did Potter County redo the courthouse?
I didn't want to renew it.
Huh?
I didn't want to renew it.
But you did.
No, I did, but that was one thing. Wait, let me tell you. We were going to do it for $12 million, and it's come up to
Why did you do that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because to me, I felt that they needed to for later on for years, because it was getting to a point that it needed to be done. The air conditioner was gone.
Same reason we're redoing a 50-year-old golf course for the future. Quality of life for companies who are moving to town. They see we have quality of life issues here. We have things for people to do. Bell Helicopter moved here because of our golf course.
How much did you pay Bell Helicopter to get come in here? What did you bill for Bell Helicopter? Why did you bill for Bell Helicopter to come here?
I wasn't here.
You weren't here, but you should know.
Well,
Mr. President, this particular item is to redo the golf course out there, and the certificates of obligation will be paid of those people that play on the golf course. I agree that there's all kinds of capital improvements, but I wish we had money to do. Each year, we have an amount of money we have to consider to do all kinds of capital improvements. And we can't do them all, and we have to prioritize. But that has nothing to do with the golf course, that just has to do with where we can.
But it's still money coming from the city.
This is
I mean, in the city, it's coming still. We still put money out there in front. That's what I'm telling you. We put it out there in front. Okay, let's start. Okay, let's year per year pay it out on payment and see how that'll be. You know, that's different. You don't have to raise taxes. You just pay it whatever you have the budget and save money for that item and pay it out.
Okay, so thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate your input.
Well, I understand, but I know that when I come up here that you all get a little touchy. But let me tell you, you're going to have, if people are going to believe in you, all you have to do for the people. To do for the people. Not for the interest of yourselves, or some interest. Like the deals you're trying to put up here, it's uncalled for.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner. Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Anybody else? Hello, Irma.
Do I have to give my address again? Ida Maeda, 1604 South Harrison. My daughter lost her job in California, and she's public relations for a golf course. People were not going out to play golf. With this economy, they were not going out to play golf. The golf course was closed because the people are just not spending their money on that. I believe that with this last election we had, a message was sent to Washington to stop the spending. And I think that the people here in Amarillo need to do the same, to send in a clear voice to stop the spending. You guys are spending money every which way, all over, and we don't know what our economy is going to be like. They tell us that this economy may not bounce back to where it was maybe in 20 years if things go right. You are assuming that people are going to go and play golf. I believe that here in Amarillo we're very lucky that we do have a very good economy, but we cannot assume how things are going to be going, and to be putting money into a golf course right now when we don't know what's coming. And I think this last election, you need to listen to what the people told Washington, because we're also going to be telling the local government here to stop the spending.
Okay, thank you.
You know, can I say one thing real quick? You know, we're kind of fortunate with a little bit of the downturn that I think we were able to save $2 million or $1 million something dollars that we were going to spend on the golf course, and that's the reason why we're taking advantage of it right now. Again, it's a quality of life issue. We're sensitive about everybody's money, and but we were trying to take advantage of this a little bit too, so that's what we were trying to do.
That's what makes our city successful. We can't just sit back and hope that good things will happen for Amarillo. We've got to help make those things happen. So, and we know that the golfers are coming out, and we know that they are using the golf course. Tennis is very much alive in Amarillo too. We're very excited about that. So, we can't presume and sit back and hope things will happen good for our city if we don't act on some of these things. So. We take all this into consideration. This is not a whim. This is not an overnight decision. This is not something we go, oh, that's a good idea. Numbers, facts, figures have all been taken into account on every single one. We're very prudent. We're very diligent. The staff is very diligent, and we don't do something just on a whim. So, anybody else like to come and speak about this? We're excited about this city. We're excited about what's going on in Amarillo. We're excited that people are wanting to move to our city because there are good things happening here. We're on the cusp of getting some wonderful things done. We've got to keep up with our quality of life. We've got to make sure that we have people coming to our city. We have things in place for them that they want to come to Amarillo for. Keep our business, our economy growing, keep those things going, but we can't sit back and hope it will happen. We've got to do those things that are justified, those things that we can pay for, those things that make sense and that we can pay. And it's true, Irma, I know you're looking down, but it's the truth. And we do not do it on a whim. It is not a whim. It is something that we have looked very diligently into. So, I tell you, this commission, we love what we do, and we love this whole city, not just parts of it. So we love representing the city of Amarillo, and we love representing every single one of you. And we are here. We're elected to do this job. I love it. We love it. And we hope that we do the right thing, and that's all we can do. Thanks for Carter County for what they do, and thanks to the City Commission for what they do. So, having said that, are there any more comments? Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I would move to approve item number 7, resolution city golf course renovation project, notice of intent to issue certificate of obligation.
I second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes by 5-0 votes. We have some visitors here with us today. Usually doesn't go quite this long, but we're on the consent agenda now, and we recommend the following items be approved, and that the city manager be authorized to execute all documents necessary for each transaction. A is award the Zoo Education Center professional services contract. B is accept the supportive housing grant homeless management information system. C is approval addendum number 1 to the Potter County participation agreement. And here's number 1, and Commissioner, we're glad to be able to work with you on that. And D is approval license and hold harmless agreements. I think it's important that we talk about our zoo. That's another one of our quality of life issues we have in the city of Amarillo. We're really excited about that, to bring people here to keep this community where we want it to be. Mr. Offdal, looks like everyone was going on at our zoo. Please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. We are very pleased to present to you a public-private partnership for the new Zoo Education Center. This project represents a true partnership. We formed the AZS, which is the Amarillo Zoological Society, which is a 501c3 agency, in 2009. And through our grants and donations and private support, we generated over $400,000 in private money to go along with about $25,000 in the city money for this project. And so This is going to take the zoo to a new level. We're going to have our potential to have about 10,000 children go through our education center this first year it's open. This will be one of the major steps that we will take to become AZA certified or accredited. And we're very excited about this project, and I want to thank all the private contributors, many local foundations, and some very generous citizens for stepping up and giving their money to support this project. And so it's taken us about 1.5 years to get to this point of our work to get this money raised in this time, but it really is a vote of confidence by the citizens because they do want to support the zoo and to make things better for our park and recreation department. So we're excited to move forward, and this will be a green building, which would be the state-of-the-art conservation elements in the building, and we're also excited about that. So, again, thank you.
Parks does a great job. This is another one of those issues we've talked about. People are excited about the zoo. They're excited about downtown. They're excited about golf courses, tennis, what do they call them? Tennis courts. So I love the city, and I want to keep progressing on with this and making it better for everybody. We want to get there the most prudent way that we know how, and that's we're very diligent about that. Is there any comment from the audience on the zoo? Let me go on the other consent agenda items. We're glad to be working on this, getting some grant money for the homeless folks in Amarillo, another important part of our city government, what we do for the community. Again, the Potter County participation in their helping to get their courthouse redone. And absolutely, let's talk about, and I hate that the commissioner has left, but let's talk about what our participation is in Tiers with Potter County with what we're doing for their county courthouse. I guess Mr. Frigo on the Tiers, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. In the original participation agreement with Potter County, the Tiers committed to make almost $1.3 million improvements in the courthouse renovation. Potter County has now requested about $745,000 in improvements, which would be streetscaping, which would be consistent with the downtown standards that you've approved, but for beautification of the street, the sidewalks, lighting, street trees, paving, and then they'll relinquish the balance of that commitment. So I think we have a true win-win here.
We're excited for the Potter County Courthouse. I think it's going to add to what we're doing for downtown, and it's a win. Like you said, it's a win-win for everybody. So I'm glad we can do that. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to talk about any of the other consent agenda items, or pull it in and out for separate consideration? Commissioner? Yes, ma'am. Come up to the microphone. I'm sorry. We can't do that on the regular. Yeah.
I was just going to ask Mr. Oppendahl. He was saying it's all green and everything. What does he mean by that? Can he explain what he's talking about green?
Sure, you bet. Thank you.
Our focus is going to be on energy conservation. Everything from we're considering solar, we're considering rainwater catching rainwater and using it for irrigation purposes. We're looking at the most energy efficient local materials we can buy to keep the building costs down. There's a whole variety of new technologies out there that we're going to look at to cut our energy costs down. This building will be about 2,500 square feet, and our goal is to cut our energy consumption about 40% of a normal commercial building. So our utility costs are going to be a lot lower every year after this building's operating. And so we want to use this building. This is an education center, but we want to use this building as an example for the builders in Amarillo to come to the building and learn and show their clients what a green building is. And we see this going across the country now. A lot of cities across the country are really putting a priority on the green architecture, and we want to be a good steward of our operating costs. And if we can cut our building costs down by 40%, after we open this up from a normal building, this will be our objective.
I think this new idea of going green is really catching on, and I'm really excited about that. We're able to implement that in our city in all different kinds of ways and all different projects. So this is really exciting. It's important for our environment, it's for our city and for our country? A good question. Anybody else? Okay, if not, do I have a motion?
Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by a 5-0 vote. This will conclude our regularly scheduled meeting. Before we go into the public comments, I would ask Mr. Atkinson to, we noticed last week how the snow came last this weekend and has really torn down branches all over town. And some of you all may be wondering what to do with the limbs in your yard or all around, what's happening with the limbs in the city. So Mr. Atkinson would like to address that. I would like for him to address that for all of you all so we can put those limbs, what we need to do with those limbs this last weekend.
Certainly, Mayor. The city issued a press release yesterday, and we'll ensure that it's also available on the city's website. As a result of the rain/hail, thunder, snow, whatever we had last week, the largest impact we faced in the city, you can still see this in many of our parks, was most of the trees still have too many leaves to handle a snow like that. So everybody has lost trees. They're down all over town. What we would ask residents to do, as you're cleaning your property, or as you're having your property cleaned, either the debris in the alley, not through the middle, please, but on the side of the alley, away from the dumpsters. We will be sending our brush trucks around. We're running 6 of them today as fast as we could go to keep getting around and try to pick that stuff up, and then we'll haul it off from that point. You may also, and we would encourage you to do this if you have means to do so, is to take any of that brush, any of those down limbs, to any of our existing shipping sites that we have, where you can just literally back up your truck, your trailer, whatever you're using, and push that off, and we'll handle it from there. If we could beg one favor, please don't push them back out in the street. We're doing all we can to keep them out of the street, so let's not put any out there if we can help it. And finally, if you know any folks that for whatever reason are not able or are having difficulty handling the down trees or the down branches that may be on their property, please call us here at the city, call us at the Building Safety Department, and we will do what we can to arrange some assistance for you to help with that.
Do you know any of those locations of the chip sites, by any chance, or kind of where they're located?
I kind of know where they're located. There is a chip site on Broadway, on the west side of Ross Rogers Golf Course, and it's about mid-block between Hastings and 24, so it would be on your left as you're heading north to do that. There is a chip site on 9th Street, on the west loop, north of 9th Street. And Dustin's out there. Dustin, we still have the chip site located off of Eastern, south of 34th. Is it still running?
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay, so we have those 3 for certain, and if need be, and we did this with the Big Ice Storm several years ago, we'll open up some temporary sites. Right now, all the equipment's running, the grinders are running, and we're able to stay ahead of it.
Okay, just stay tuned to the media, right?
Stay tuned for more.
Okay, great. That is a mess, wasn't it? Yes, all over town. Okay, now we'd like to move to the public comments. We always like to do this at the end of our commission meeting. For anyone who would like to address the city commission on any items that are not on the agenda today, pertaining to city services or programs, we'd love to open the floor up for those comments at this time. And if you would like to speak, if you'll come to the mic and give us your name and address, please. Hi. How are you? Good.
In interest of saving time, I'll ask the whole commission this. I'm with Channel 4, Channel 14, Jessica Janner. This is going to come from an article that came out in the Amarillo Independent. KAMR and KCIT, we've done our own investigation today, and we have confirmed that at least 5 lawsuits against Wallace Vajali, the firm that's been recommended by the Downtown Amarillo Incorporated. And one of them is still active. I guess that will go to trial in March of 2011. And so I guess my question to you is if that slowed down the process at all of this recommendation, or if that is going to halt that process right now. So,
Jessica, we had in our pre-work session, we talked about that, and we had DAI in the same room, and we've noticed that there are some things like you come up with that we want to make sure are addressed. It's very important for us to make sure we make the right choice on this. And so we have suggested to our staff here in the city of Amarillo to continue to go back and review. We'd love to have your list of what you found out, and also for the DAI staff to work some more on their due diligence, for them to come together, work out these issues, because no one wants more than the city commission to make sure we make the right choice. We are still moving forward. We still feel good about the process, but we still want to make sure all of our due diligence is followed and all of our I's dotted and so forth. So, yes, and we knew of one or two, maybe one, we knew of one, so we'd love to have your list. If we could, we'll add that to the due diligence process.
Right, and I've talked to the DAI, and they've said, positive things about this firm. Are you asking for a second recommendation, perhaps, that might be better? And this particular lawsuit that's still active, I guess, Frost National Bank is accusing a Creekwater Plaza, which Wallace and Bajali are both partners of. They're accusing him of failing to pay, halting the development process in Missouri City. So isn't that a concern at all?
This is the first I've heard of it. So
okay.
If you'll give us that, we'll give some time to look at those issues, and we'll work together with the as well as our city staff. Again, it's no more important to us than to get all of them right. So this is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, just one more question. Is this kind of like a boyfriend-girlfriend? It may be great, but maybe just the wrong timing, especially if the trial is only going to begin in March?
For what you just referred to?
Yeah, if there is a trial out there and no decision has come of it, is there maybe another firm that would be more appropriate?
Maybe
you know what I'm saying?
Right now, again, we haven't even looked. This is the first I've heard of this.
Okay.
So we haven't even had a chance to even think about it or talk. This is minutes. So we will absolutely look into that, and your questions will be valid in a week or two. After we had a chance to look at it.
Okay. So have you asked for all this information from the DAI as well?
Well, we've asked them to do more due diligence. I don't know if they knew about your issues that you're talking about. We knew of one that was out there. We just found out yesterday about. So we are we're continuing to move forward. Downtown revitalization is so important, and we want the right people in place to direct the city on the best way to go.
When will a decision come out on this particular firm?
We would decide that Marcus.
Mayor, comments, public comments, press conference.
Okay, I tend to talk too much.
And really, you're allowed to answer with setting policy or fact, and we're not allowed to engage in deliberation or public comments.
We will certainly look at those. If you'll give us that list, we would love to look at that.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. Thank you. Anybody else? Sir? I know I did.
Well, this is only the fact that I saw the last night. I don't need to picture with this ballpark. This is the statistics what I gave about the bringing them into affiliated team. They didn't give to me. They didn't give the right numbers, and I don't have the real numbers, but the league that we're in last year, the deal is that it seems like it's going to go bankrupt. I'm not too sure, but I think they have lost about 3 or 4 teams. Because the American Association is in trouble. Some of them. Not the American Association is in trouble. They have 14 teams, 16 teams, I think. But they're going to, I think that 2 or 3 of them are in trouble. So I'm rather going to be one of them that's going to be, and I'm saying that it's going to be it. But what I say, to bring a major league affiliated here in Amarillo, it would cost $8 million to be a Class A. To bring a AA, it would cost you $12 million to come in here. That's to be kind of like a membership. And the AAA will continue that, probably be more than that, than $12 million. But what I'm trying to say too is that the capacity of the stadium has to be according to the AAA or AA sanctioned by them. And we cannot go out there, I'm saying this week, because, it might happen. We cannot go down there and ask them, tell us that we're going to have AAA. We can't. There have to be an opening and be asked for the league and make applications for that. Another thing is that then he says all that. The other thing is that the major league players, the league players that play in the league, double A, double A, or triple A, are partly paid sometimes by the major leaguers. They call them baby bonuses. You ever heard that? I guess you never heard that. That's what they call them in the old days. But anyway, they call them bonus babies. So some of those players will get paid part by the major leagues team and part from the revenue that they get here in the present team. So I just want to correct that it's more than just to say we're going to have a major league affiliated team. So this.
Great. Thank you for doing your homework on that. I'm not up to speed on that, so thank you.
Well, there were a lot of things that were said that you know, I'm not saying that they just didn't give the right numbers. And the numbers that, well, yes, nothing to the Coastal Bend from the United League. They only had 300 people there. I think they're out.
Oh, really?
Well, there's some of them are. There's about 3 of them that are out. But,
thank you. That's another thing we sure want to make sure it's right.
so if it ever happens here, I hope that you'll have enough information too.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Ann. Hi. How are you?
Laura Hankins, I'm actually a Randolph County resident, but I have baseball lineage, and I have, my grandfather was a minor league player for Mexico. I had a cousin playing the ALDS for Tampa Bay, actually Tampa, and then I had a cousin win his second World Series ring just in the last month, so we're very excited for him, for the Giants actually. I come because I truly feel the residents of our city would prefer the revitalization of the existing stadium here for baseball. I know my family and I, we love to patron and go out. At times, our family has owned bought seats out there. We just love the game. They have all our lives. It's involved many good families, and it's a really wonderful spirit. I just came from the World Series. Sat across, saw George Bush, saw Nolan Ryan, and boy, they saw me standing up cheering for that opposite team. It was hilarious. But, you know, I live in Texas. I'm not from Texas, but I do live here. And I just wanted to communicate that to you from residents I've spoken with.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. If not, we appreciate everyone being here today. We have an executive session to go to, and appreciate everyone coming to that meeting.
Ask a question.
Okay.
Okay,
yes, sir.
My name is Glenn Thompson. I live at 4202 King Avenue. There was apparently a water leak in my alley yesterday. So they moved my dumpster and put it right in front of my house.
On the street.
On the street. Why did they put it in front of my house? Couldn't they put it one side or the other?
You have the advantage of me, I don't know.
I called Rick with solid waste,
Okay.
and he basically stonewalled.
Okay. We'll give you the
Communication is very important.
Absolutely. Give me the
And-
address again, please, sir.
Huh?
Can I have the address again?
4202 King Avenue.
4202 King.
It's sitting right on the sidewalk, right in the middle of my house. I got a picture of it I can even show you.
Okay.
I really prefer that it not be right in front of the house. Because if it stays there very long, I might find a way to pick it up and move it to somebody else. And there you go.
Well, thanks for bringing it to us.
If you would hold on when we adjourn, I'd like to get your phone number, and we'll figure something out, take care of it.
Anybody else? Okay, well, we appreciate everybody coming in. We really do appreciate your comments. Thank you all so much. This meeting's good. You're going to have the executive session.
Just take care, George.